Welcome, I'm the Kaiju no Kami, and tonight's review is Rodan, also known in Japan as Rodan. After the success of Godzilla in 1954, Toho went on to create a barrage of kaiju movies over the course of the next 15 years. Their successor to Godzilla was another prehistoric monster mutated by radiation, this time in the form of a pteranodon. The forefathers of Godzilla all helmed the creation of this new monster known as Rodan, which was also the first kaiju movie from Toho to be filmed in color. Strangely enough though, the poster depicted a pteranodon, whereas Rodan's final design is more in line with an Azdaha from the Cretaceous period. Is Rodan distinct enough to not just be a copycat of Godzilla? Let's find out. Rodan revolves around a small village of miners. Wrong type of miners, as in the miners that dig for minerals.
Hi-ho, 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 it's off to work we go. Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's off to work we go. Hi-ho, hi-ho.
Here we meet our main character, Shigeru Kawamura, played by Kenji Sahara, who is an engineer for the mining company.
水が出た？うん、排水ポンプは。うん。よし、すぐ行く。あそこはそう地下水の湧く地盤じゃないんだが。はあ。突き当たりの断層が臭いですね。うん。徹底的に調べてみます。
Two miners who are always getting into fights with each other, Goro and Yoshizo, have gone missing. A search party is sent into the mine shaft and Yoshizo's perforated body is discovered, which makes everyone suspect that Goro murdered him. Two miners and a police officer search the mine for Goro, and they hear strange noises. They are attacked by something in the water. Dude, are you being killed or did you just go to the bathroom in the pool? One of the miners escapes the water and runs to the nearest phone, but the mysterious assailant chases after him. Goro's sister and Shigeru's lover, Kiyo, played by Yumi Shirakawa, is harassed by women in the village for her brother's accused actions. Shigeru comes to her home to comfort her and informs her that he does not believe Goro was the one who killed them. Suddenly, a huge insect-like creature barges into Kiyo's living room. What good is closing it gonna do? If the monster wanted to go after you, he could. It's paper. Polite monster not to, apparently.
Uh-oh, paper-thin door. I can't get to them anymore.
Shigeru and Kiyo flee and get the rest of the village to help track this monstrosity down. A chase ensues as the creature runs through the backyards to escape. Before it is confronted on a mountainside. This bullet sponge kills two officers before disappearing into the mine. A group of soldiers arrive with what is hoped to be more efficient equipment. They hunt for the giant bug in the mine only to come across Goro's corpse. The creature is killed only for everyone to discover there are more of them. A cave-in occurs, burying Shigeru in the process. The insects are recognized to be ancient bugs known as Mega Nulon. An earthquake erupts around Mount Aso, and upon investigating it, Shigeru is found to be wandering around the premises without any memory whatsoever. He is taken to the hospital in hopes that something will jog his memory without success. Pictures of the Mega Nulon are handed to him, but instead of remembering them, he is stricken with a horrid headache. At the same time, a monster that flies at supersonic speeds is discovered. It attacks Beijing and Manila before returning to Mount Aso, where it dines on a married couple. Their camera managed to catch the edge of the creature's wing, revealing it to possibly be a pteranodon. Kiyo pulls out the nest of eggs from her birdcage and hands it to Shigeru. Shigeru stares at the egg in horror as he starts to remember what happened to him after the cave-in. He then takes a group of soldiers and scientists to the location of the nest, where they find a small piece of the eggshell. Upon studying it, it is believed that nuclear radiation is the cause for the monster, now called Rodan's unremarkable size. Rodan appears at Mount Aso during a further investigation, destroying a jeep in the process. The military sends out jets to dog the flying menace, giving them a false hope as he dives down into the sea. Unfortunately for them, Rodan just needed a drink of water and flies back out of the sea. Rodan invades the city, causing an onslaught of vicious destruction. As you can see, the wires here are as visible as an episode of Thunderbirds. Thankfully, the shot is just so cinematically beautiful that you can easily forgive the filmmakers for it. Still, there had to have been a better way of doing it. Now, there is something really odd here about Rodan, as he seems to be able to shoot some type of mist out of his mouth. I have no idea where that came from or what its purpose was, because there was nothing about it before. Speculation is that it was just there just to mimic something that Godzilla did, but it's never used again, unless you count the fire breath fire Rodan has in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 93. The tanks attack him when a second Rodan emerges onto the scene. The bird-like duo disappear while the city burns. The city burning just doesn't feel as dramatic as it did in the original Godzilla, and it feels kind of forced in there just to give an impact effect of Rodan's destruction. It turns out that the creatures have returned to their nest in Mount Aso to rest, so a plan is formed to trap them by entombing the crater. The local villages are evacuated since the plan hopes to cause the volcano to erupt. Rockets are launched to initiate Operation Kill Time.
Team Rocket blast off at the speed of light!
After spending at least 5 minutes of just watching rockets blow things up, the Rodans try to escape but are unable to do so thanks to the volcanic atmosphere. Instead, they crash into the burning rocks and are set aflame. The movie ends with the winged beast grilled to crispy perfection.
It's finger licking good.
And that, and that was Rodan. What? Too soon? This is my lunch. Leave me alone. Rodan is a pretty entertaining movie. It is just an extremely flawed one. The characters are likable, yet they are not really developed all that much. Shigeru is the movie's main character, however, he is missing for a great portion of the story. Kiyo really serves no purpose whatsoever other than to have a love relationship thrown into the movie for no reason at all. Thankfully, the acting is well done, especially for Kenji Sahara. Kenji does a wonderful job of making it look like he has actually lost his memory. His facial expressions are just so convincing when he's looking at the eggs in horror as he's remembering exactly what he saw. The plot is where the movie really excels, as it keeps the viewer engaged in what is happening at all times. It starts off as a movie about miners that soon turns deadly as giant bugs slaughter them. Then, just when you think it is going to be about the Mega Nulon, the movie slides into being a full-blown monster movie with Rodan, only to add to the surprise when a second Rodan appears. Each section synergizes into one cohesive narrative, making for an exciting film overall. Added to this is Akira Ifukube's grandiose score. It does not matter if it is the discovery of the Mega Nulon to the birth of Rodan and finally to Rodan's attack in the city. Every chord is played with exact precision on how the scene is acting out. It is one of Ifukube's finest scores ever. Unfortunately, like its characters, the effects are where the movie strays from perfection. The cinematography is absolutely stunning, especially during Rodan's attack. However, the wires are clearly visible as if no one had even tried to hide them. Thankfully, the way the scene is shot in both its cinematic aspects and for the amount of detail to the buildings and their destruction more than makes up for it, but it doesn't mean it should be overlooked. Speaking of the miniatures, they are just hands down amazing. They are highly detailed, they don't look like buildings that we have seen in some of the other kaiju movies, and you can tell that the production team truly wanted to make the city to look realistic. The designs for the Mega Nulon are creepily disgusting. They look like they really did just crawl out from a long-lost cavern, which brings a sense of dread when they show up on screen. No one would ever want to meet these things in the real world. The highlight of the movie is hands down its title character, Rodan, and Toho did not disappoint. The Rodan suit looks downright incredible, and just like the Mega Nulon, he looks frightening. This is easily the best looking Rodan to ever grace the screen to this day. No suit has managed to recapture the magic found here, which is a shame. The head is able to truly express Rodan's personality as he looks like he is ready to just tear into his prey at any given moment. This is the one aspect the later suits have failed to recreate. He comes off looking more friendly and playful in other incarnations. Here though, his eyes are as dark as a shark's. There is no thought-provoking measures being taken in that mind of his. He is there to feed, nothing more, nothing less. Strangely enough though, he seems to come off as more of a reddish looking color than a brown that he is normally portrayed to be in various recreations from toys and artwork. Perhaps it is just the way the color film of the time made him look though. The front of his body has really striking plates with 3 rows of spikes running down it. The wings are huge, and while it is hard to really see it from the movie in action, there are a ton of details on them both inside and outside. Also, the fact that there were 2 Rodans in the movie made for a really nice, interesting twist that was unexpected at the time. In the end, Rodan may not have the most well-developed characters, and it does have some misfires as far as effects are concerned, but what it does have is heart. The filmmakers clearly went out of their way to make the best movie they possibly could. And yes, sure, it may not be the best made film ever, but it is one of Toho's most entertaining films in their entire library, and Rodan would go on to become a fan favorite. Well, I'm the Kaiju no Kami, signing off once again. Until next time, bye.
thought I tore a putty tab.